Okay, so today I'm going to show you how I knit. It's not necessarily the right or wrong way, it's just the way that I learned myself from watching a YouTube video. So today I'm using these really huge 25 millimeter needles. These are really large for a chunkier knit. You know, these are some others that I have used in the past, and these are 12 millimeter needles, which also give a really chunky knit, but they look tiny in comparison. So this is the yarn I'm using. It's 6 gauge, I believe, and this is the brand and the kind, super bulky, and it's in the color oatmeal. And here's the other information. So I believe my mom purchased this at Joann Fabrics. So let's begin. There's two types of basic stitches when you're knitting. So the first one is the knit stitch. The opposite of a knit stitch is a purl. So I will show you what both of those are, and we'll get started. So you're going to want to start off by making a slip knot to cast onto your needles. That's the first step in knitting, is casting on. So you're going to leave a tail about the width that you think your whatever you're knitting is going to be. I think I'm probably going to make it at least, I don't know, you want to make it at least probably 6 inches long enough, just so you can weave it into your work after you're done. So what I'm going to do is make a slip knot. So I take my fingers and I just wrap it around twice. I take this one over this one, and then that one over that one, and pull it through. So this is what you're going to put onto your first needle. So I'm going to take my first needle. I kind of put the tail on the back side of the needle, and then I work with this in the front. So what you're going to do is, this is the knit stitch, so we're going to loosen it up. The looser you start with it, the easier it is. You can always tighten it as you go. And you're going to take your other needle, kind of keep your tail out of the way. You're going to insert the needle underneath this loop right through here and kind of cross it under. Then you're going to take your working yarn and you're going to take that up and around that second needle, and you're going to pull on it, and then you're going to pull this needle up and over, and then this is casting on. So what we're going to just take this, wrap it around, and insert the needle underneath that to create our second loop when we cast on. So you have 2 stitches right now. So you're going to keep doing this until you have the width of whatever you want to make. In this case, a scarf. I think in most people's cases it's a scarf. So again, doing the same thing. When you cast on, your item is going to look a lot shorter than it actually will be once you start knitting it, so keep that in mind. That's something I had to learn. So again, insert it underneath, take your working up and around, pull that through, and then insert that needle under that and let go. So I'm going to do this about, I think I usually do about 14. These needles are really large, so it tends to take less, it takes much less time to knit. So just going to keep going until I have the amount that I want to do across. And as you can see, it starts creating a nice little row here, which will be your finished edge. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think I'm going to do 12 today. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I don't even know how I have this working. So this is your cast on. It doesn't look very wide at all, but when you begin to knit it, it tends to stretch out. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so you're going to do basically for knit is the same thing as casting on, but you don't loop it through the second time. So I'll show you. So you're going to start here at the top, and you transfer it, you're transferring all of your work onto the second needle. So take your working yarn, just like casting on, up and around, pull through. Instead of looping it around, all you're going to do is pull that off. So you have it on this working needle now. So you're going to do the same thing. Insert your needle, and I always kind of pull on the working yarn to tighten it up just a bit. Up and around, pull through and off. Down through here, working yarn up and around, pull through and slide off. Down, around, pull through and slide off. So you can just move your work up and down the needle as you go. You don't have to worry about it getting too loose because you can always kind of tighten it up a bit. Up and around, down and across. And then soon you'll be able to go faster once you get the rhythm down. But you can see that all of your knits are getting transferred onto the other needle. Keep going. Like so. Round, down, and the last one, round and down. So now this needle is free and you have everything here. So then it's on the opposite side. You always turn your needle over every single time. So this is always, your work always wants to be on the left-hand side. I suppose if you're left-handed, I don't know if it's any different, but I know as far as it goes for me, it's because I'm right-handed. So, this is the knit stitch. So, when the back side of a knit is a purl, like I was saying. So these bumps here, these are purls. The what's in between, or what will be on the back side, is going to be the knit. So every time you do a row of knit, it's going to look like purl on the opposite side. So it's going to tend to be every other row is going to look like a knit, purl, if you're doing knit every single time you go across the needles. If you want it to look one side completely solid knit and the other side completely solid purl, then you would do every other row a knit and a purl. So now I'll show you how to purl, which is the reverse of knit. So what we're going to do is take it up on top of this needle, and your working yarn goes over the top. You pull that down through the back and then slide off. So up and over the top, up and around, pull down and slide off. Up, around, down, and slide off. So it's essentially the same thing as a knit, but you're just doing it opposite. I always found that the purl was a little harder for me because I got so used to knitting that I wasn't used to reversing what I was doing, but I was using a lot smaller needles when I was trying to teach myself, and so I found that these really large needles, even the 12s that I have, are very easy to work with. So keep doing this all the way across. The first few rows on any knitting project always look a little funny just because you're trying to get used to what it's supposed to look like, and it gets a little confusing, but once you get it worked out, you'll really see your work kind of come together. So now you can see a little bit more of our pattern, that these are knits, all here nice and smooth, and the other side are purls, which are the little bumps like so. So now I'm going to do another knit row. And how I always remember what to do next, because sometimes I would mess up my pattern, is that whatever's facing up, so the knits are here. You can kind of see the difference there. Those are the bumps or purls. So I just remember I have to knit this row now because the knits are up on this side. So again, up and around the back and slide off. It's very, very simple. It seems a lot more complicated, I think, but once you get the rhythm down, it's really easy. You just have to remember what is next in your pattern. Most of the scarves I've knit are just all knits back to back on every time you turn your work over, so it tends then to look knit, purl every row, versus what we're doing right now, which is knitting and purling every other row, and it gives it a more consistent pattern on either side. So like sweaters are, I think, generally made like this because they have more of a solid pattern on one side to the other. So there's our knits, and the next row would be purls because the purls are on our working side now. So pretty simple. I think it looks really nice with this thick yarn. Whoops, I was gonna do the wrong one. All right, we're gonna purl this one up through, up and around, down and out, up, around, down and out. So you just keep doing that. So it's really up to you if you want to practice maybe just the knit stitch first. I find that that's very easy, and that's what I do just because I don't have to remember what comes next. I just keep doing the knit rows, but yeah, it's completely up to you what pattern and what look you're going for. But practicing, I think, just one, and then, you know, when you're feeling like you have that down, you should have seen some of my first knitting projects. They were horrendous. There was holes in them, and they looked so stupid. But I think it's just getting the hang of what you're doing and practicing and all of that. So there you go. I think you can kind of see what we have going on now. Those are the knits. You can see that they're really pretty little knits here, but these are your rows that go across that you're actually knitting. And then here is the purl side. So there you have it. I'm just going to keep working on this, and then I think I will insert a picture on this post to show you